Hey, what's up, guys? This is Keith. I just wanted to create this video real quick to show you the power of pre-market high breaks, especially when it lines up with another level that is important. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. We're going to look at pre-market high and yesterday's high of day, the break of those two levels, and see what happens using the example from INDO today. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let me just shrink this down. All right, so INDO today, obviously a very hot stock. You can see here, this thing is just going crazy. Massive range. Look, it's starting to break out right now. But anyway, we've had this one on watch for a while. We did trade it this day here for a nice little gain. Wasn't really paying attention too much back here, unfortunately. But anyway, so coming into today, the levels that we had plotted, let me just plot those for you real quick and show you what we're looking at. So we had yesterday's open price, and then yesterday's high. And then we had yesterday's close price, yesterday's low. All right, so let's see. Coming into the day, all the information we had was right here. So this is the daily chart up here, 5 minute, 15 minute, and then the hourly. So coming into the day, these are the levels we had plotted out, our support and resistance levels. And we noticed that yesterday's high of day, which was right here, it's 25.28 level, was coming into play because in pre-market you could see that it spiked up and bumped its head right onto that level there, and then it continued to pull back there. So we knew that above that level there was a possibility of a squeeze. Now this jumped up and created the pre-market high, and it also lined up with yesterday's high day. So you have two important levels all in one area. And then you can also add this 25.50 half dollar break as well. And so when you have three strong levels like that line up, that's usually a place where you could potentially have a good entry point, because a lot of traders see these corresponding levels and they know that when those levels break, that they have the potential of squeezing. So coming in pre-market, you could definitely see that there, and it was something to keep an eye on. This was INDO was on our watch list, has been on our watch list for the last couple of days now since it's been running, and you can just see what happens and how it reacts. So we also had yesterday's open price here plotted. And you can see how the stock kind of reacted to that level, how it came up, tried to break it, got above it, fell below, then tapped its head on it here along with VWAP. But then it kind of spiked through and then went and tested the next level above. But you can see that the stock slowly pulled back and then bounced really hard right off that level. So it's nice to see our support and resistance lines line up. But you can see a very bullish indication that we talk about all the time here, which is called a reclaim. Reclaims are something we talk about in all our videos. I would suggest going back and checking them out if you don't know what they are. I can go over it real quick. Basically, a reclaim is when you lose the 5 minutes, or actually any time frames, moving average, the 9, because we use the 9 EMA on multiple time frames. It's when you lose the 9 EMA or VWAP. So you can see here the stock was closing underneath the 9 EMA, then it spiked up above it, reclaimed it here. Okay. You can see it was below it, and then it spiked up, and then it opened up above the white line and the yellow line. So that's what you call a reclaim. That's a very bullish indication that the stock is going to go higher. So you can see this setup here. This was our level of entry, and the stock reclaimed, giving us a bullish indication, and it proceeded to break that level. Now, your risk could have been the low of the 5 minute candle, or you could have, if you wanted to go tighter, you could have risked maybe the 24. And you kind of just go from there and set your targets. Unfortunately, because INDO is such a new stock, there's not much. There's not. This is at its all-time high, so there's no data to go for to look for targets. So you're kind of just gonna, at that point, you're kind of just gonna be intuitive in regards to it and see, kind of read the chart and what it tells you to do at this point. So you can see here it broke that level. Now it did kind of whipsaw around there for a minute. You can see that it came back down, tested the 5-minute 9, but it didn't come to your stop. So that's the most important thing. I would have been scared for sure. I may have reduced some size there. But you can see that once it kind of also tested the 9 and the VWAP again on the 5-minute chart, you can see that, and then it was also still holding up well in the 15. And the hourly was also very bullish. You can see how it tested the 9 here. We got a kind of a flag of sorts on the hourly where you have a big green bar inside red bar, then continue to break. So then you can see that once we finally got going through the pre-market high, yesterday's high in 2550 area, once we finally started going, it started squeezing really nicely. And then, I mean, at this point, you're kind of just scaling out of the trade. It's still trending, so you have no reason to really freak out too much. But yeah, this is a really good R trade. If you risk the 24s and you got the 2550, that's $1.50. So you're looking at like 1R, 2R, 3R, 4R. So about 4R before it decided to actually pull back and correct a little bit before another leg up here. So really nice trade there. It just shows you the power of those levels and how when a stock breaks those certain levels that they can really squeeze. So the video is just about keeping an eye on those certain levels and making sure you know what to look for around those levels. If a stock tests and does not break that level, then it's going to act as resistance. If the stock breaks that level and still continues to try to get above it, then it has potential of going higher. If the stock breaks the level, comes back down, tests the level, then it's probably going to be that means it's bullish. That means that the stock is holding above that level. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to make a quick one on the power of pre-market high and what to look for. Keep your eye out for those levels. Yesterday's high day, pre-market high, whole and half dollar marks, and use them to your advantage. Everyone's seeing those levels, and they are really important to be able to recognize. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this quick video recap on INDO. Any questions, drop them below. Like, sub for more content, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.